Why do some engines seem like they're made of pure magic? They keep going long after the odometer rolls past 300,000 miles. They survive boost, abuse, high RPMs, and even poor maintenance. Meanwhile, others barely make it a decade. Ask any seasoned mechanic, and they'll probably tell you Japanese engines are in a league of their own. Built with precision, over-engineered for strength, and designed for real-world endurance, they've earned a reputation around the world. These engines don't just move cars, they build legacies. Let's take a look at 10 Japanese engines that refuse to die. 10. Toyota 4AGE. The Toyota 4AGE might not top power charts, but it wins when it comes to balance, simplicity, and durability. First released in the early 1980s, this 1.6-liter DOHC inline-4 became famous for powering the Toyota AE86, a car that went from underdog to legend thanks to drifting, street racing, and pop culture like Initial D. This engine only made around 112 horsepower, but what it lacked in power, it made up for in spirit. The lightweight design, high-revving nature, and Yamaha-designed cylinder head gave it razor-sharp throttle response. It was reliable enough to daily drive and tough enough for the track. Even today, you'll find these engines in drift cars and autocross builds, still screaming like it's 1985. 9. Nissan SR20D ET. If you know anything about drifting, you know the SR20D ET. This turbocharged 2.0-liter inline-4 powered various Nissan Silvia models, S13, S14, and S15. The engine was built with forged pistons, oil-cooled internals, and a solid iron block. In factory trim, it was already fun. But the real magic was in its potential. The SR20D ET could handle 300 to 350 horsepower on stock internals, and with just a few upgrades, it could push even higher. It was reliable under pressure and forgiving to tuners learning the ropes. It's no surprise that this engine became a staple in drift scenes worldwide. Even today, many choose it over newer options because it's just that good. 8. Honda D16. The D16 engine didn't need a turbo to win hearts. This 1.6-liter SOHC inline-4 powered millions of Honda Civics and became a symbol of fuel efficiency, dependability, and cheap thrills. Horsepower numbers were modest, typically around 106 to 127. But what really stood out was how these engines just kept running. Take care of your D16, and it could easily hit 300,000 miles or more. Simple construction, easy access to parts, and a massive online community made it the perfect engine for budget builds. And despite its economy car DNA, the D16 loved to be revved and could be modified to deliver some serious fun. 7. Mazda 13 BREW. Now here's something different. The 13 BREW is Mazda's legendary twin-rotor rotary engine, best known for powering the RX-7FD. With just 1.3 liters of displacement, it produced around 276 horsepower in stock form, and it revved like crazy. It was smooth, lightweight, and had one of the most unique exhaust notes in the car world. Rotary engines like the 13 BREW do require more care. Oil changes, cooling, and regular maintenance are key. But for those who treat them right, they last longer than most people expect. Enthusiasts love this engine for its character and the way it delivers power. It doesn't just rev, it screams. And in the hands of rotary fans, it refuses to die. 6. Honda B16B. When people talk about Honda's VTEC magic, they're often talking about the B16B. Found in the Civic Type REK9, this 1.6-liter DOHC engine produced 182 horsepower, naturally aspirated, over 100 horsepower per liter. That's a number usually reserved for high-end sports cars. The B16B revved to a glorious 8,500 RPM and had a rock-solid bottom end. This was Honda proving that you didn't need a turbo to make power. You just needed good engineering. Lightweight, high revving, and built for abuse, the B16B became the heart of countless track cars and daily drivers. Even now, people still swap this engine into older chassis just to experience that iconic VTEC crossover. 5. Nissan RB26DETT. The RB26DETT is one of the most iconic Japanese engines ever built. Found in the Nissan Skyline GTR models from the R32 to the R34, this 2.6-liter twin-turbo inline-six was originally designed for Group A racing, and it shows. It came with a closed-deck block, forged steel internals, a high-revving design, and even individual throttle bodies, features rarely seen on a production engine at the time. On paper, it was rated at 276 horsepower due to the Japanese gentleman's agreement, but in reality it made more, and the real story was what it could handle. Tuners quickly discovered that the RB26DETT was massively overbuilt. With basic upgrades, it could easily handle 500 to 600 horsepower. With a fully built setup, pushing it to 1,000 horsepower became normal. And despite the high power, the engine remained smooth, responsive, and remarkably durable. That's why decades later, the RB26 is still used in top-tier builds around the world. It's not just a motor, it's a platform that refuses to quit. 4. Mitsubishi 4G63T, another turbo four-cylinder that won't quit. The 4G63T powered Mitsubishi's Lancer Evolution models from Evo 1 through Evo 9. This 2.0-liter engine was originally designed in the 1980s, but Mitsubishi kept improving it with stronger internals and better turbo systems over time. The result? An engine that dominated rally stages and street races alike. Thick cylinder walls, cast iron strength, and endless tuning support made it a favorite for power junkies. These engines have been built to handle 600-plus horsepower with the right parts, and they're known to last well over 200,000 miles, even with spirited driving. It's one of the toughest engines Mitsubishi ever made. 3. Honda K20. If there's one modern engine that proves Honda still knows how to build a masterpiece, it's the K20. This 2.0-liter DOHC IVTEC engine came in cars like the Civic Type R and Accord Euro R. With over 200 horsepower stock, it was already impressive. But the K20's real gift is in its tuning potential. Naturally aspirated, it can be pushed past 300 horsepower. Throw on a turbo or supercharger, and 600-plus horsepower is within reach. It's light, strong, and built to rev all day long. It's also become the go-to swap for countless projects, from Miatas to MR2s to classic Hondas. The K20 is reliable, responsive, and ready for whatever you throw at it. 2. Mazda 20 BREW. The Mazda 20 BREW is a unicorn in the engine world. A rare, factory-built, three-rotor rotary engine that came in the luxurious Unos Cosmo of the early 1990s. Producing around 280 horsepower in stock form, the 20B offered an incredibly smooth and linear power band with the unmistakable rotary sound that's music to any gearhead's ears. But its real strength lies in its potential. With proper tuning and maintenance, it's not unusual to see these engines pushing 600 to 800 horsepower. That's supercar territory from an engine smaller than most V6s. While it demands regular care, especially in terms of oil and cooling, the reward is something truly unique. The 20B doesn't just deliver power, it delivers character. It revs high, sounds exotic, and remains one of the most fascinating rotary engines ever produced. For enthusiasts chasing rare power plants with massive upside, the 20B REW is a crown jewel. 1. Toyota 2J ZGTE. This is the king of all Japanese engines. The 2J ZGTE is a 3.0-liter twin-turbo inline-six that powered the Toyota Supra Mk4. Built with a cast-iron block, forged crankshaft, and overbuilt everything, it was designed to take abuse and come back for more. Stock output was around 276 horsepower due to Japan's gentleman's agreement, but in reality, it could do way more. With just a turbo upgrade and some tuning, people push these engines to 700-plus horsepower. Go all in, and 1,000-plus horsepower is totally possible. What makes the 2JZ special isn't just its strength, it's how smooth and reliable it stays even when making insane power. It's not just a good engine, it's a masterpiece. And that's why it's still one of the most swapped, built, and respected engines in the tuning world today. These engines didn't earn their reputations overnight. They became legends through years of reliability, engineering, and real-world performance. Whether it's a V-Tech Screamer, a rotary Rebel, or a twin-turbo monster, each one tells a story. They represent a time when manufacturers built cars to last and engines to inspire. In a world full of disposable tech, these power plants remind us what true craftsmanship looks like. Which one would you drop into your dream car? Tell us in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like, share it with your gearhead friends, and subscribe for more.